All right, so let's talk a little bit about the songwriting process. I've seen you guys in the room together, so I have a little bit of an idea, but just to give these guys an idea, what does your songwriting process typically look like in a session?
I'll go first. Oh, sorry, Trey.
No, please.
So my process has changed over the years. The longer I do this, the more like humbled and open I get. I think when I first started, I was just hungry, and like also when you get signed, a lot of people gas you up and you can get a little delusional. It takes a minute to kind of like, for me to settle back into like reality and like what's really going on. And at the end of the day, we're making art, and it has to be really precious and done from a very special place, an open-minded space, a safe place. So these days, when I go into a session, I typically try to immediately just get on the highest frequency that I possibly can. Just be a safe, good vibe for everyone so they feel comfortable opening up. I think there's a lot beyond the skill of writing a song that's just as important as like writing the song. So I just try to like create a good energy, and there's always prep work before, like great titles or great little verses or ideas. And then I just create a safe space, and then just stay open to everybody's flow. And obviously I have my own flow, which I'll, get into if no one's really moving. But for the most part, it's a collaboration. I just try to honor everybody's space and what they need to get out. And once that is created, the song often just like writes itself. So
amazing. I love that. Trey, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I learned the art of songwriting by working at a studio. I first started working at this studio being a grunt worker, so just running, grabbing coffees, helping with scheduling. And
awesome.
yeah, so it was called Media Temple. I don't know if any of you have worked there before, but Guy Baruch is amazing. And he had creative development clients, so like kids that were like 10, 11 years old that their parents wanted them to learn how to songwrite, to create songs, to learn how to be artists.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough songwriters coming in, so they asked me if I wanted to learn how to songwrite. And so I first shadowed songwriters in sessions with the kids, and then started taking my own sessions with the kids. So my process started out with conversation, because a lot of kids are just looking to find a safe space, looking to be heard, looking to be understood. And I want to do that first and foremost. I've also found that's kind of where you find the gems of truth, is in conversation. Like someone may say something that you can build a concept from.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
I primarily work with artists, so I'm always shape shifting first and foremost. Some days you're working with an artist that likes to do melody first and foremost, so you're doing melody passes and figuring it out. Sometimes you're working with an artist that needs to know a concept, and sometimes you're kind of helping to create the sound for the artist. So shape shifting every single day, but generally always starting with conversation, for sure.
Amazing. Such good advice. Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so when I started songwriting, I started in my room, so I wasn't writing with artists. So I had to pull from my own experience, but then I started learning like, hey, I kind of want to be more than one dimensional. How do I bring in different concepts? And I started watching movies and getting different perspectives. And that's how I was able to kind of create these songs that weren't necessarily for me, but I could still tap into those emotions or feelings. And I did that just kind of by like dissecting those movies that I was, watching, and that's how I was able to grab those perspectives. And then once I got into the room and working with an artist, I realized quickly that like, hey, you have to make them feel comfortable. You have to make them feel like they're safe enough to be vulnerable with you, that you can create that space where they feel confident enough to share these ideas. Because a lot of people, they go into a room and they feel like, like maybe that's a corny idea, maybe I shouldn't share that. But that could be the one idea that shapes the entire song. So you can't be afraid to just, share those ideas, and then they get flushed out through conversation, and